This is one of Nike's most revolutionary trail shoes. However, it's probably not for most runners. Let's talk about the Nike Ultrafly. What's up everybody, I'm Eric McIntyre. You're watching Rad Dad Bod TV, where we review running shoes. Today's review, we're talking about the Nike Ultrafly, but really this is more of a first thoughts video for a number of reasons. One of them being that this shoe is kind of almost specifically built for the Western States 100 and a very specific type of ultra and trail running, which personally, I just don't do a whole lot of that kind of terrain where the shoe is going to be more comfortable. I'll speak about that, but because of that, I'm probably not going to get the miles on the shoe to do the full review. That being said, I took them out today on a mountain summit, one of the local mountain summits that's less technical, and I had a lot of fun, so I still wanted to get a full-length review for all of you. Now, if this is your first time, I'm still gonna put a little bit of kind of timestamps below. Feel free to jump around, but again, I'm not gonna be as comprehensive on the shoe itself. Before we get into the details, let's start out with some disclaimers and disclosures, which is that Nike sent me this shoe for the purpose of review, for testing and usage. That being said, there's no expectation of what kind of video I make, or technically if I actually make a video. These thoughts are entirely my own. No one gets to watch the video beforehand. Now with that out of the way, let's talk a little bit just about intended use and specs. This is a long distance trail shoe. I hesitate to say ultra running shoe because really I think that's going to be subjective to the individual, but certainly most athletes that are running in the shoe are running ultra trail races. Now it is a carbon plated super trail shoe with the Zoom X foam. Again, we'll talk more about that. So it is meant to go fast, but also go the distance. And it is a premium product coming in at just under $260. One way to think of this shoe is it's almost like the Vaporfly, but for trail. From a spec standpoint, I know it's an 8.5 millimeter drop, but I don't know the specs off the top of my head, so I will drop them right here so you can see. And then speaking of the fit of the shoe, it is a wider overall fit for a Nike. I'd say it's standard in the midfoot, standard in the heel, and a little bit wide in the forefoot. Lengthwise, I would say go with your normal size. It fits pretty much true to size. The upper itself is made of a vapor weave, which is this really, really lightweight, really, really breathable, but seemingly pretty durable and strong upper. I found that the lockdown was left a little to be desired and did require kind of the use of a runner's knot. And that when I was running on steep downhills, that I did feel I slid forward in the shoe a little bit, but, and you can tell this from the lugs, this shoe is not necessarily made for steep inclines and declines or technical terrain, so really that makes sense why I would slide forward a little bit or how the fit works. Overall, I didn't get any hot spots from the upper, but I did have a little bit of hot spot on my heel. Moving to the midsole, there is a carbon fiber plate, but they call it a fly plate because it kind of duels as a protective element for the bottom of your feet. And then you have the Zoom X foam in the shoe, which is very, very fun, very bouncy. Now for durability purposes on trail, Zoom X foam would get completely torn up, so they put it in kind of this kind of mesh-ish or like cloth casing. What I found is that kind of gives it some extra stability and extra control. And so these aren't going to be quite as bouncy as the Vaporfly, but I did find the underfoot feel to be very, very enjoyable. There were a couple of times where I did hit the ground and I felt just like I bounced off the floor, and that was really cool, a really good feeling overall. From a pace versatility standpoint, because most people who are running in the shoes are running for ultras or running in ultras, then there is some really good pace versatility. On some of the downhill, I picked up some of the pace, felt really, really good. I didn't feel like the shoe was fighting me on the uphill either, which when you have that carbon fiber or stiffening element, sometimes it doesn't feel comfortable going uphill. I felt pretty good overall all across the board. Admittedly, a lot of the uphill was more power hiking though than running. Moving to the outsole, we have the Vibram Mega Grip outsole, but only like, I think those are only 2 millimeter lugs, maybe 3. So that should be the sign to you that this is not built for technical terrain at all. This is really built for kind of smoother trails, gravel trails. But what was really cool was, for the most part, this was a smooth trail, and I did feel like the full coverage outsole gripped the ground really, really well, and I didn't really have any traction issues at that point. Obviously, if I was doing more of a technical mountain summit, I would want maybe a little bit larger lugs. I do believe that the full coverage outsole though will make these very, very durable. Obviously these shoes are made to go, hundreds of miles at a time. And it was a lot of fun running in the shoe for the most part. Now, who is the shoe for? Again, it's really, I mean, it's a premium trail running shoe, kind of a niche usage because you're not gonna get technical lug. So unless you're running on like super groomed trail, it's not gonna be the shoe for you. And it's probably too expensive for most people to want to use for like a daily shoe. But honestly, like it probably would do really well even on road, especially like snowy winter roads. So I think the shoe is actually probably more versatile than people are going to give it credit for, but it is a very unique use shoe. For myself, living in Utah, where most of our mountains get really technical, if you're running up them, probably not going to be it's probably not going to be worth the investment in that situation, which kind of makes sense. And from a comparison standpoint, I don't know, it's a pretty unique shoe. I think the closest shoe to maybe talk about, let me grab it. I think one of the shoes you maybe kind of look at and compare when you're talking about price point and maybe use case is going to be the Speedlin GS line, where you do have deeper lugs, but it's kind of a wider fitting overall shoe. It's not a shoe that you probably want to take on like super technical terrain, but it is a shoe that if you're going to be on foot for a really long time, it's going to be very accommodating. As far as the upper, I actually like the Ultrafly a lot more. I do think the Ultrafly, like I was kind of shocked at how much I like this shoe. It's very fun. These are a lot of fun too. I get kind of some, not lace pressure, but pressure on the top of my foot from the BOA lacing system on these Speedlins. And the Speedlins are super wide. So while you can get some good lockdown, like you don't have a lot of security when you are running on more technical terrain in the Speedlins, at least for my foot. But all in all, when you're getting into kind of that 100-mile scene, these are kind of some of the shoes that a lot of people are going to be seen running in or trying out. So that's one of the reasons they tend to have a much higher price point. Final thoughts on the shoe. I wish I lived in a place where I could run a lot more in it, because it was a ton of fun. I very much enjoyed the miles today. And I kind of want to see if I can go on some of the flatter, less technical trails maybe next weekend, because I'm trying to ease off some of the summiting. And I'll probably take these out and kind of give them a test run again and get some more miles on them, because I genuinely did enjoy my time today. With that, we'll wrap up real quick. That was the Nike Ultrafly. Just a quick kind of first thoughts video, not a full review. Again, wanted to get you guys some of the specs, a little bit of the tech, and just give some generalized opinions based off of, again, one run. But really fun shoe. Excited to see the update coming fairly soon with the Ultrafly 2. See what they change. I've already seen some pictures. It looks pretty interesting. But yeah, if you're watching the video, let me know in the comments what your thoughts are on the Ultrafly. Is it worth buying a shoe, like a $250+ trail shoe to you? And if so, where are you taking them? And as always, if you're not already liked and subscribed, please go ahead and do so, and hope you have a wonderful day.